Welcome to Keeping Your Kids. Today's topic is keeping your kids a healthy weight. We're going to talk about the best ways to fight obesity, and we're going to talk about ways to do that here in Northern Virginia. With me today is Dr. Natalie Sikka, who is a pediatric gastroenterologist. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Is it true that here in Northern Virginia we have the same trend as what we're seeing across the nation, where it seems like more and more children, and even younger children, are starting to show signs of obesity?
And unfortunately, we do. Nationwide, we have about a third of the population of children who are either in the overweight or the obese category. And it's no different actually in the Northern Virginia area. And unfortunately, if this continues, this current generation of children is actually the first one that's not going to outlive their parents. I think part of it is the type of food that's available. A lot of people are very busy on the go, and so they're tempted to pick up food that's quick, that's easy, and unfortunately that's not always the most nutritious food for their children or for themselves either. The good thing is that there are better choices available. And we're not advocating a complete change in the diet because that's not realistic. Yeah. So even small things like decreasing the amount of juice. Juice, even though it's a natural sugar, it still is a sugar. So if you can eliminate the juice, if you can eliminate the soda, those are easy things.
A lot of the Food Network and other TV shows talk about cooking with your child as a way to get them more willing to try different foods. What do you think about that?
I think it's a great idea. I think the more kids are involved at whatever level, I think they'll become more invested in their meal, and you'll probably have more success getting them to be more interested in the types of foods that they're eating.
Today we're going to make a veggie pizza.
Pizza.
And you're going to have to help me.
Okay.
Okay? You up for that?
Yes.
Good. Cooking with your child at home is a great way to introduce them to healthy eating habits and is a fun family activity. Plus, when kids make things, they're more likely to eat them. Pizza happens to be probably one of the most favorite foods for kids. You can do squash, eggplant, fresh tomato, and if you're going to do the fresh tomato, get those seeds out, because if you don't, it'll make it kind of soggy with all the water. You can use spinach, fresh herbs like basil, and just have your kid pick what they like. And then you can put a little bit of part skim mozzarella cheese on. It's a familiar food, but you've made it healthier. Think in those terms, because it's a lot easier to take something that's familiar with children and make it a healthier version than to all of a sudden change 180 degrees what you're trying to get your child to eat.
So let's talk about exercise. Or is it better to call it just movement? Is it enough to keep your child on the go, or do they really need to be engaged in a group activity or a sport?
Right. Not necessarily. You don't have to have access to a gym or access to organized sports in order to keep your child active. It can be as simple as a jump rope, or as simple as doing jumping jacks, things that don't require fancy equipment or a lot of money. Instead of coming home and maybe watching TV or watching TV in the evening, which is becoming an issue, try to limit that time. And instead, either try to do some of these activities inside if going outside is not a possibility, or obviously going outside would be helpful. The trouble we have is when kids are so used to not moving that it's even hard for them just to even get up and walk from their house to the end of their driveway, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So any movement that we can do is great.
And if you're a parent and you kind of feel like your child is maybe already over that line and they are in the obese area, and sometimes for parents that may be hard for them to know. Can you kind of tackle this on your own, or do you really need to seek professional advice to really get your child started moving, started eating healthy? Is there any risk to taking it on yourself if...
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think people inherently know what's good food and what's bad food, and they know what they should be doing. It's just a question of maybe making a more concerted effort in doing these things. And as I said, not just for the child, but for the whole family. So oftentimes, you know, once you have the entire family going for a bike ride every night or going for a walk every night, you don't have to say to the child, we're doing this because you're overweight. No, the idea is that you want to all develop better eating habits and better exercise or movement habits. And so you can institute those changes, and oftentimes the kids don't realize that that's what you're doing. It just becomes part of their everyday lives.
And that is keeping your kids a healthy weight.